Nicholas and Maya had been married for 6 years. They lived in a small, cozy house in the suburbs, a place filled with memories of laughter, love, and sometimes quiet evenings. To anyone looking in, they seemed like a happy couple. Nicholas worked as an accountant at a local firm, and Maya was a graphic designer who often worked from home. Life was simple but good. Every morning, Nicholas woke up early to make breakfast. Maya would join him at the kitchen table, sipping her coffee while they talked about their day ahead. They shared jokes, plans, and sometimes worries, just like any other couple. They had their small routines, watching a favorite TV show together in the evening, going for walks on weekends, and celebrating birthdays with close friends and family. Nicholas trusted Maya completely. He believed she was honest and faithful. They never had serious fights, and even when they disagreed, they talked things through. He thought their relationship was strong, built on love and respect. Maya loved to spend time with her friends, especially her close group of girlfriends. They often went out together for dinner, or just to unwind after a long week. Nicholas was happy that Maya had her own life outside their marriage. He believed in giving her freedom and space, knowing that trust was the foundation of their bond. One Friday evening, Maya told Nicholas she was going out for a girls' night. She seemed excited and was already planning what to wear. Nicholas smiled, happy to see her cheerful. "Have fun," he said. "Don't stay out too late." Maya laughed. "I won't. Just some fun with the girls." As she started picking clothes from her wardrobe, Nicholas noticed something different. Maya chose a dress that was more glamorous than usual, a tight, sparkling dress that made her look stunning. It was a big change from her casual style. "Wow," Nicholas said, trying not to show too much surprise. "That's a fancy dress for just a girls' night." Maya smiled and twirled in front of the mirror. "I just want to look nice," she said. "Maybe I'll meet someone interesting." Nicholas laughed. "You? Meeting someone better than me?" He teased her, but inside, he felt a strange flutter of doubt. He pushed the feeling away quickly. "You're the only one for me, Maya." Maya winked. "I know." That night, Maya left the house looking beautiful and confident. Nicholas watched her go, feeling proud, but also a little uneasy. Something about the way she dressed, the way she said those words, stayed in his mind. He tried to focus on his work and not let the small worry grow. But deep down, a question lingered. Was Maya really just going out with her friends, or was there something more? Nicholas didn't want to think about it. He wanted to trust her, believe in their life together. For now, everything seemed normal. But sometimes, the smallest changes can tell the biggest stories. After Maya left for her girls' night, Nicholas sat alone in the living room. He kept thinking about the dress she wore, the sparkling, tight dress that didn't seem like something she would normally pick. It wasn't just a dress, but the way she smiled when she said, "Maybe I'll meet someone interesting." The word stayed in his mind, like a quiet warning. Nicholas shook his head. She was joking, he told himself. Maya had always been playful like that. Still, the small feeling of doubt kept growing inside him. The next morning, Maya came back late. It was almost midnight. Nicholas was already in bed, pretending to be asleep, when she opened the door quietly. He heard her take off her shoes and clothes carefully. There was a strange energy about her, nervous yet excited. The next few days were different. Maya's phone was always close to her, and she kept it on silent. Whenever it rang or buzzed, she quickly hid it or looked away when Nicholas asked. Nicholas didn't want to seem jealous, but the change made him uneasy. He tried to focus on his work, but his mind kept wandering back to Maya. One afternoon, Nicholas decided to talk to her. They were sitting in the living room, and the sunlight was soft through the window. "Maya," Nicholas said carefully, "you looked really different the other night. That dress, it wasn't like your usual style." Maya smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "I just wanted to have fun. Maybe try something new." Nicholas looked at her closely. "You said you might meet someone interesting. Was that a joke?" Maya laughed softly. "Yes, of course. You're the one I love." Nicholas wanted to believe her words. He wanted to trust her completely. But the small voice inside him whispered, "Are you sure?" Days passed, and the doubt grew stronger. Maya started coming home later, sometimes with messy hair or a tired smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. When Nicholas asked about her night, she gave quick answers, changing the subject. One evening, Nicholas noticed Maya's phone light up while she was in the kitchen. She quickly put it in her bag when she saw him looking. That night, Nicholas lay awake, wondering who was on the other side of those messages. Finally, Nicholas's worry became too strong to ignore. He didn't want to invade Maya's privacy, but he felt lost and scared. When she was asleep, Nicholas quietly took her phone. His hands were shaking as he opened the messages. There, in black and white, were conversations with a man named Ryan, someone Nicholas had never met. The messages were friendly at first, but soon they became flirtatious. Ryan called her beautiful, and Maya responded with emojis and sweet words. They talked about meeting up, about secret plans. Nicholas's heart broke with every message. The woman he trusted was talking to another man in a way that felt like betrayal. He put the phone down and stared at the ceiling. He didn't want to believe it, but the truth was clear. The next day, Nicholas tried to act normal. He didn't say anything to Maya, but inside, he felt like a storm was building. He watched her closely, the way she laughed, the way she touched her phone. Every little thing now felt like a clue. One afternoon, Nicholas saw Maya texting Ryan during a break at home. The smile on her face was soft and secret. Nicholas's chest tightened. He wanted to shout, to ask her why, but he stayed quiet. That night, Nicholas sat alone in the dark, tried to understand what was happening to the woman he loved. He realized that trust is fragile, easy to break, hard to fix. The dress that didn't fit was not just fabric. It was a sign, a small crack in the life they had built. Nicholas knew he had to find the truth, no matter how painful it might be. Because sometimes, the hardest part of love is facing what's hidden beneath the surface. After that night when Nicholas found the messages on Maya's phone, he felt a storm of emotions inside him. Confusion, sadness, anger, all mixed together. But instead of confronting Maya right away, he decided to watch and learn more. He wanted to be sure of the truth before breaking everything apart. Days passed, and things didn't get better. In fact, Nicholas's doubts only grew stronger. Maya's behavior changed slowly, but clearly. She began coming home later and later from her girls' nights. Sometimes she wouldn't answer Nicholas's calls for hours. When she finally did, her voice sounded tired or distracted. Nicholas tried to ask her where she was, but she gave vague answers. Just out with friends, she'd say quickly, then change the topic. Her phone was always on silent now. Whenever it buzzed or rang, she would quickly check it and hide the screen from Nicholas. Sometimes she would walk into another room to talk quietly, her voice low and secretive. Nicholas felt helpless. The trust he once had seemed to slip away like water through his fingers. One evening, Nicholas sat on the couch, trying to read, but his eyes kept drifting to Maya's phone on the kitchen counter. It lit up with a message notification. Maya walked into the room, noticed the phone, and immediately grabbed it. "Nicholas, can you stop looking at my phone?" she said, her voice sharper than usual. Nicholas sighed. "I'm not spying, Maya. I just want to understand what's going on." Maya looked away, biting her lip. "Nothing's going on. I told you, I'm just hanging out with friends." Nicholas didn't respond. He wanted to believe her, but every sign said otherwise. Late at night, Nicholas would lie awake, thinking about the messages he had seen. Who was Ryan? What did they talk about when Maya thought no one was watching? One night, Nicholas heard his phone ring at 2 a.m. It was an unknown number. He didn't answer, but his heart raced. Why would anyone call so late? The next day, Maya seemed tired and nervous. Nicholas asked if everything was okay. Maya smiled weakly. "I'm just stressed at work." But Nicholas wasn't sure. Then another late-night call came. This time, Maya's phone lit up repeatedly. Nicholas saw the screen but couldn't hear the conversation. He noticed Maya's face change. Sometimes she looked happy, other times worried. The late-night calls and secretive messages became a pattern. Nicholas's mind was filled with questions. One evening, Nicholas decided he had to know more. He waited until Maya left the house for a meeting and quickly checked her phone again. This time, the messages were clearer. Plans to meet, secret conversations full of laughter, and inside jokes that Nicholas had never heard. His heart ached as he read messages like, "Can't wait to see you tonight. You're amazing, Maya. This weekend, just us." Nicholas's world felt like it was falling apart. The woman he loved was sharing moments with another man, moments he wasn't part of. He put the phone down, feeling lost and betrayed. But even with all this, Nicholas still wanted to hear it from Maya. He wanted to believe there was some explanation. The next day, Nicholas tried to act normal, but inside his mind raced with doubts. At dinner, Maya was quiet, and Nicholas decided to gently ask, "Is there something you want to tell me?" Maya looked up, surprised. "What do you mean?" Nicholas's voice was soft but firm. "I know about the messages, the calls." "Who is Ryan?" Maya's eyes filled with tears. She looked down, unable to meet his gaze. Nicholas waited for her to speak. The silence between them grew heavy. Finally, Maya whispered, "It's complicated. Nicholas, I never meant to hurt you." Nicholas's heart broke, but he knew the moment had come. The moment when truth could no longer hide in the shadows. The evening after Maya's quiet confession, the house felt heavy with silence. Nicholas sat on the couch, staring at his hands, trying to understand everything. He wanted answers, answers he wasn't sure he was ready to hear. Maya sat across from him, her eyes red from crying. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Finally, Nicholas broke the silence. "Maya, please tell me everything. I need to know the truth." Maya took a deep breath. "It started a few months ago." She began slowly. "I met Ryan at a work event. He was charming and kind. At first, it was just friendly, someone to talk to when I felt lonely." Nicholas nodded, listening carefully, trying not to interrupt. "But then," Maya continued, "he started texting me all the time. He made me feel special in a way I hadn't felt for a long time. I didn't mean for it to go beyond that, but it did." Nicholas's heart pounded. "You had an affair?" Maya looked down. "Yes. I'm so sorry, Nicholas. It was a mistake. I never wanted to hurt you." Tears streamed down her cheeks. "I felt lost. Sometimes I thought our marriage was just a routine, no excitement, no passion. Ryan made me feel alive again. But I still love you. That's why I hid it." Nicholas struggled to process the words. Part of him wanted to scream, to shout in anger, but another part wanted to understand the woman he loved. "Why didn't you tell me?" "We promised to be honest," Nicholas said quietly. "I was scared," Maya admitted. "I thought you'd leave me. I thought it would destroy everything." Nicholas's mind raced with questions. How long had this been going on? How many times had she met Ryan? What about their promises and dreams? Maya wiped her tears. "We met a few times in secret. I didn't want to, but it just happened." Nicholas felt a wave of pain wash over him. The life he thought he knew was breaking apart. He remembered the sparkling dress, the late nights, the secret messages. Everything now made sense. He wanted to be angry, but mostly he felt hurt and confused. Nicholas looked at Maya and said, "I don't know if I can forgive you, not yet." Maya nodded, understanding. "I don't expect forgiveness right away, but I want to try to fix this if you're willing." Nicholas took a deep breath. "I need time. I need to think." For the first time in months, the couple sat down and talked openly. They spoke about their feelings, sadness, anger, disappointment, and also about their love, memories, and hopes. Nicholas realized that this betrayal wasn't just about Maya's affair. It was about the silence that grew between them, the small cracks they ignored. Maya promised to end all contact with Ryan and to be honest from now on. Nicholas agreed to take one step at a time. The road ahead wouldn't be easy. There would be pain, tears, and hard conversations. But for the first time, Nicholas felt a small spark of hope. Hope that their marriage could survive this storm. Hope that love might still heal the wounds. Because sometimes, the hardest truths are the first step toward a new beginning. After Maya's confession, the house felt different, quiet but heavy with unspoken pain. Nicholas couldn't stop thinking about the affair. The woman he loved, the person he trusted most, had broken that trust. It was like a sharp knife cutting through everything they had built together. The days that followed were some of the hardest in Nicholas's life. Every time Maya spoke, Nicholas heard a voice inside his head questioning her honesty. Every glance, every smile felt uncertain. He wanted to believe her promises, but couldn't forget the betrayal. Maya tried to apologize again and again. She cried and begged for forgiveness. She promised she would never hurt him like that again. But Nicholas felt distant, as if there was a wall between them that couldn't be crossed. At night, Nicholas would lie awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying memories in his mind. He remembered their wedding day, the laughter they shared, and the quiet moments that once felt so precious. Now, those memories were mixed with pain and confusion. One evening, Maya sat beside Nicholas on the couch. Her eyes were full of tears. "Nicholas, please," she said softly. "I know I hurt you. I don't want to lose you." Nicholas looked at her, feeling torn. "Maya, how do I trust you again? How do I stop thinking about Ryan and those secret messages?" Maya reached out, holding his hand gently. "I don't have all the answers, but I want to work through this with you. We can go to counseling, talk to someone who can help." Nicholas hesitated. He wasn't sure if he was ready for that yet. But part of him still loved Maya, the woman he had shared so many dreams with. "I don't know if I'm ready," Nicholas admitted. "I'm angry and hurt. Sometimes I feel like I hate you, but other times I just feel lost." Maya nodded, understanding his pain. "It's okay to feel that way. Healing takes time." The next few weeks were filled with difficult conversations. Sometimes they argued. Sometimes they cried together. But slowly, they started to open up. Nicholas shared his fears, the fear that Maya might leave him or that he wasn't enough. Maya shared her loneliness and why she made mistakes. Their friends and family noticed the change too. Some offered support, while others suggested it might be time to give up. Nicholas felt pressure from all sides, but he knew the decision was his own. He loved Maya deeply, but trust is not something you can rebuild overnight. One day, Nicholas found himself sitting alone in the park, thinking about everything. He realized that healing would be a long journey, one filled with ups and downs. He also understood that forgiveness wasn't about forgetting what happened, but about choosing to move forward despite the pain. When Nicholas returned home, Maya was waiting. They didn't say much, but this time, their silence felt different. Less heavy, more hopeful. They both knew the road ahead would be hard. There would be moments of doubt and frustration, but they were willing to try. Because love, even when broken, can sometimes be mended with patience, honesty, and care. Nicholas took Maya's hand and said quietly, "We'll take this one day at a time." Maya smiled through her tears. "Thank you, Nicholas. That means everything." And in that moment, amid the broken trust and heartache, a small light began to shine, the light of hope and new beginnings. After weeks of pain, tears, and difficult talks, Nicholas and Maya found themselves at a crossroads. Their marriage, once strong and steady, now felt fragile, like a delicate glass ready to break. But it was also clear that the future depended on the choices they would make next. Nicholas spent many late nights thinking about what he truly wanted. Could he forgive Maya completely? Could their love survive such a deep wound? Maya, too, was unsure. She felt guilt and regret every day, but also a strong desire to repair the damage she caused. She didn't want to lose Nicholas or the life they had built together. One Sunday afternoon, they sat together in the quiet living room, the sun shining softly through the window. It was time for an honest conversation. "Nicholas," Maya began, her voice trembling slightly, "I know I made terrible mistakes, but I want to fight for us. I want to prove that I can be better. For you, for us." Nicholas looked at her, searching her eyes for the truth. "Maya, I want to believe you. But trust isn't something I can just turn on. It has to grow again, slowly." Maya nodded. "I understand. I'm ready to be patient, to do whatever it takes." Nicholas took a deep breath. "I want to try, but I also want us to get help. Maybe counseling. We can't do this alone." Maya smiled, relief washing over her face. "I agree. I think talking to someone will help us both." They agreed to find a counselor who could guide them through the healing process. Over the next few weeks, they attended sessions together. At first, it was difficult to open up completely. But slowly, they began to understand each other better. Nicholas shared how deeply the betrayal hurt him and how scared he was of losing Maya. Maya talked about her loneliness and why she made wrong choices. Their counselor helped them find ways to rebuild communication and trust. It wasn't easy, but each small step felt like progress. Outside of counseling, they made new promises. No more secrets, more honesty, and more time spent together. They planned date nights, took walks in the park, and talked late into the night about their hopes and fears. Nicholas noticed small changes in Maya. She was more open, more caring, and genuinely sorry. Maya saw Nicholas's efforts to forgive and understood his pain. But despite the progress, some days were harder than others. Sometimes old doubts crept in, and both of them felt frustrated. One evening, after a difficult argument, Nicholas wondered if they were strong enough to keep trying. He sat alone, thinking deeply. Was the pain worth it? Could their love survive the storm? At the same time, Maya prayed for strength. She wanted to be the wife Nicholas deserved and hoped their love could heal. After that night, they decided to take things one day at a time. No pressure, no rushing. They understood that healing was not a straight path, but a journey with ups and downs. They also knew that forgiveness didn't mean forgetting, but choosing to move forward with hope. Nicholas looked at Maya and said, "I don't know what the future holds, but I'm willing to try if you are." Maya smiled softly, tears in her eyes. "I'm here, Nicholas, for us." In that moment, at the crossroads of pain and hope, they chose to fight for their love. Not because it was easy, but because it was worth it. Sometimes, the hardest choices lead to the strongest bonds. And for Nicholas and Maya, the journey to healing was just beginning. After deciding to try and save their marriage, Nicholas and Maya knew the path ahead wouldn't be easy. Healing from betrayal is never quick or simple. It takes time, effort, and a lot of patience. The first step was acceptance. Both of them had to accept what had happened, no matter how painful. Denial or blame would only keep the wounds open. Instead, they faced the truth together, even when it hurt. Counseling became a safe place where they could talk openly. Their counselor helped them understand their feelings: anger, sadness, fear, and hope. Sometimes, these sessions were difficult. Tears were shed, and harsh words were spoken. But slowly, these moments helped them learn to listen and understand each other again. Nicholas learned that his anger and pain were normal. He gave himself permission to feel hurt without guilt. Maya learned how her actions affected Nicholas deeply. She took responsibility without making excuses. This honesty was a foundation of their healing. Outside counseling, they created new habits to rebuild their connection. They set aside time every day to talk, not about problems, but about their lives, dreams, and even small things like how their day went. These conversations helped them feel close again. Trust, the hardest thing to rebuild, was rebuilt slowly, through actions, not just words. Maya stopped hiding her phone and shared more about her day. Nicholas tried not to look for signs of betrayal, but focused on the present. They made new promises to each other. No more secrets. Complete honesty, respect, and kindness, even in difficult moments. Forgiveness was the most difficult step. Nicholas realized that forgiveness did not mean forgetting or pretending nothing happened. It meant choosing to let go of the anger and pain enough to move forward. This was a decision he made every day. Maya showed her commitment by being patient and understanding. She knew trust would take time to return, and she was ready to wait. Together, they planned fun activities to enjoy each other's company again. Date nights, walks, cooking meals. Simple things that reminded them why they fell in love in the first place. Family and friends were also important. Some supported their journey, offering advice and encouragement. Others doubted their chances. But Nicholas and Maya learned to focus on what they could control, their love and effort. Slowly, the storm inside their hearts began to calm. There were still difficult days, but there were also moments of joy and peace. Nicholas and Maya realized that healing was not a straight line. Sometimes they took 2 steps forward and 1 step back, but every step was progress. Most importantly, they learned that their marriage was stronger when built on honesty, communication, and forgiveness. Their journey was far from over, but they faced the future together, hopeful and determined, because sometimes Even after the deepest wounds, love can heal and grow stronger. Nicholas and Maya's story was filled with pain, betrayal, and heartbreak. But it was also a story about choice. The choice to face the truth, to fight for love, or to find a new path. After months of hard work, honest conversations, and emotional healing, they found themselves at a final crossroads. Could their marriage survive the storm, or was it time to move on, separately? For some couples, forgiveness and rebuilding are possible. For others, parting ways is the healthiest choice. What matters most is honesty with oneself and respect for what both people need. Nicholas and Maya learned many lessons. They learned that trust, once broken, is hard to rebuild but not impossible. They learned that love requires patience, understanding, and courage. They learned that silence and secrets are dangerous, but truth, even when painful, can bring healing. In the end, they decided to take life one day at a time, focusing on what made them happy and whole. Sometimes that meant leaning on each other for support. Sometimes it meant giving each other space to grow individually, whether together or apart. Both Nicholas and Maya understood that their happiness and peace mattered most. They realized that life is too short to live in bitterness or regret. If they stayed together, it would be a new beginning, a chance to build something stronger, wiser, and more honest. If they chose to separate, it would be with respect and gratitude for the good times they shared. Most importantly, both were ready to move forward, carrying lessons from the past but not letting them define their future. The road ahead was uncertain, but Nicholas and Maya had hope. Hope that whatever happened next, they would find peace in themselves and their choices and in their hearts. Because moving forward, with or without each other, is the real beginning of healing.